to show you how to use the Enterolite Infinity pump with breast milk where you don't waste any of the milk, so that you don't have to worry about putting extra in. So the way that this pump works, first you've got this, this part here, and if you look, there's a little teardrop on here. The first thing you need to do is you have to prime this line with milk, and priming means that you fill the tube with milk so that when you put the tube into the baby's NG tube or G tube attachment, there's already milk through the line. And the easiest way to do that, we have 120 mils or 4 ounces of milk here. And so you pour it in. You have to make sure that the bag, that you open the bag from the back, or else it'll come back up through the spout. And when you have a new bag that hasn't been washed out, you can prime the line very easily. But when you have a bag you've already rinsed out, there's water in the line, and that can be tricky. So there's a little water drop on this blue loop here, and if you pull that, it will draw milk out of the tube. Now if it doesn't go through, if it's not going through, put the cap on securely, and you can squeeze this and squeeze the bag at the same time, and it'll push the milk through. This is the tube that comes with the bag, and then depending on what kind of G tube you're using, you'll have a different attachment that goes to the G tube. So this is the one that we have. You need to make sure that's on, and make sure if you have a port for medicine that it's closed, or else milk will go everywhere. So you squeeze this to prime it, and you can see the milk coming up. If it doesn't come through, then you can squeeze the bag, making sure the top is closed. And you want to make sure that the milk is going uphill instead of downhill. As long as it's going uphill, you won't have any bubbles throughout the milk. You want to make sure you don't have any bubbles. So you want to prime it all the way up to the top. Once it's been primed completely, then you open up the door here, and you need to take the tube with this hard plastic part facing out, and you slide it over here, and then you stretch it and clip it in place. And then you close it and make sure it's snapped shut. Now, one of the really annoying things about this particular top is that there's no cap on it, and there's no place to put it, and it's very easy to fall on the ground. So we actually made a little clip out of a hair clip so that we can clip it up here like that to keep it in place. So the next thing you have to do is set the machine. You turn the on button, you push it and hold, and it shows up. So the rate and dose button, the rate is like the speed, it's like the speed that you would have your car at 60 miles an hour. It's 120 mils per hour. And then the dose you want to set to the amount that you want. Now, when you're doing it with formula, usually what happens is you put in about an extra 20 mils to prime the line, because this line here is about 20 extra mils of milk. When the milk empties out of the bag and empties out to here, it'll say there's no milk left, but you'll still have milk in the tube. If you're using formula, that doesn't matter, but if you're using breast milk, 20 mils is a lot. So what we've done, what we would do is make it so that we use this last bit in the tube. We don't waste it. So you want to set your rate to whatever the speed is, and then your dose you can set to the total amount that you want, but it's going to run out before that happens. So the dose, we have 120 mils in here, and we want to use all 120 mils. So you use the plus and minus buttons, and you add it up and make it 120. So the rate, it says rate 120, and then if you push it again it'll change and say dose 120. So that's going to be over an hour. That's going to run for an hour. And then once you've hooked it up to the baby and secured it, then you hit run, pause, and then it'll run. Okay, so now it says no food is left. And if you look, the bag is empty and the tube is empty, but the rest of the tube here is full of milk. So you want to hit pause to get it to stop beeping. And now, since you still have an extra 20 mils of milk that you want to go into the baby, and let's pretend that this is in fact attached to whoever it is that is receiving milk in their tube, what we did is we would just prime the milk in manually. And if you look, there's a button here that says prime, and what that will do is as long as you're pushing it, it will prime milk out of the tube. And so in order to approximate the speed, basically, which for us is very slow, 120 mils per hour, we would just hold the button down and count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we would stop. And so that much milk, which is probably 4 or 5 mils, has just gone in. Now, this machine beeps about every 2 minutes that it's on, where you haven't touched it, you haven't done anything, but it's not running. So what we would do is just wait for it to beep again in 2 minutes, and then count to 10 and prime again. So now we're just going to hit pause to stop it from beeping, and then prime it again and count to 10. And so you repeat that until the milk is done, and that'll take about 10 minutes. And so that will approximately be as slow, or if not a little bit slower. For some people that's not a concern, and so you can prime it faster, and you can prime more milk in if you put milk faster, if you have a faster rate anyway. But that's how you can prime and use breast milk in this pump without wasting it.